Welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and this is another patron roster review. This is Anubis 14. Anubis, what's happening? He's from the Alliance, specifically Vader's Fist. So what's happening? Vader's Fist from the Alliance. They're a good group of guys. Now, this patron roster review comes by way of my local hometown again. Anubis is actually from my hometown, became a patron, started chatting on our Discord, and I found out that he's actually from the same hometown as me. That's insanity. I love it. So that was really, really crazy. It's crazy what happens. It's a small world for sure. So he's watched pretty much every roster review I've ever done, and because I give a ridiculous amount of AAT raid, and because I give a lot of AAT tank raid advice, he really has got his tank raid ideas solidified and Rancor solidified. All he really wants out of this is which direction to go with Zeta material, because he's collecting it and wants to know who to put it on. And he also wants to know more about Arena and who to farm to really make sure that his Arena team is got the longevity. And so the first team, when we go into his inventory, I mean, you can look at right now, you can see his Arena is a Qui-Gon Jinn, Zeta, Jedi Knight Anakin, Aayla Secura, Yoda, and Luminara. And the two that I would replace eventually at some point would be Luminara and Aayla Secura. I would replace Aayla Secura with General Kenobi when you get him unlocked through your guild, which you have an awesome guild. And then Luminara I would replace as soon as possible with R2-D2. That's right, a lot of people didn't think R2 was very good initially, but they have come to realize that R2-D2, especially with Jedi, is really, really, really powerful. And his Zetas are really powerful when combined with a light side team. So going into your inventory, I know that you're basically free to play. I know you've spent a couple of bucks here, you know, and a couple of bucks there. You've been on and off since the very beginning. And look, if you look, it falls off really quickly. You can see that your roster is very free to play in comparison to most people's. Your turret and bays are 4 and 5 stars. You know what I mean? And they're only gear 7. So we can see that you're struggling to, you know, the struggle's real with free to play. And so with that said, there's not a whole lot to choose from, right? And you're not spending any money right now, and so it's going to be a long grind. So really, I don't want to give you too much to focus on, or it's going to be overwhelming. So the first idea for Arena was exactly the one you're doing. It's that Zeta Qui-Gon Jinn, Jedi Knight Anakin, Yoda, R2-D2, and then General Kenobi when you get a chance. Basically the team you have, but replacing those two with R2 and General Kenobi. Another possibility, which I know is going to sound lame, but it does work and it will be meta resistant, would be a Rex lead. And you have Rex at gear 10 right here in the middle. And so obviously finishing him off so you can use him as a leader is an excellent idea, because he's going to give you so much extra turn meter and really speed your team up. But then, of course, I did see that you had turret and bays down there. And so with turret and bays, I would recommend continuing to farm them. I would put them in your favorites list and just continue to farm their gear. They're absolutely atrocious to gear, but they're absolutely necessary. And then, of course, your General Kenobi, when he drops, you're going to need to immediately work on him. He drops at 5 stars, so not everyone knows that. And when he drops at 5 stars, he is viable at 5 stars. And so General Kenobi, the moment you get him. But in the meantime, you could use your Boba Fett as kind of a replacement for General Kenobi. And the reason why I say Boba Fett is General Kenobi does do a fair amount of damage, and Boba Fett does too. And General Kenobi's a cleanser. Boba Fett's not. Boba Fett, though, can do ability block and can do execute. And so it's kind of a trade-off. You lose some good benefits for others. But Boba Fett, I put on a similar scale as far as, like, he's a 5-star Galaxy Star rating. And so looking, I don't even see R2-D2. I don't know if you just haven't unlocked him yet, if you've left him in your unlock, but you may not even have him yet. If you don't have R2-D2 and you're not able to get him for another, you know, 6 months or something like that, then the other alternative would be Darth Nihilus. So Darth Nihilus, and Darth Nihilus you have at 4 stars. He's totally viable at 4 stars. Very, very, very much so. He'll do just a tiny bit less damage on his basic, and he'll have a little bit of less health at 4 stars, but neither one of those things matter for him. And so I would definitely gear him up and get him ready to go. Darth Nihilus is definitely going to help you in the long run. And so the team would consist of Rex lead, turret and bays, and then Boba Fett and Darth Nihilus. until you get your R2-D2 and General Kenobi. And of course, General Kenobi and R2-D2 were suggested in both the first and second arena teams. So basically, you're going to need to farm and gear very specific characters. These are going to be characters that you really need to focus on. And then you asked for Zeta. So the Zeta, I would actually, because you're running Jedi and you really have only a few Jedi and Rebels leveled up, I would recommend your Zeta go on Yoda, since you have him, to make him more durable. Battle Meditation just makes Yoda that much more irritating to go against. It really does make a significant difference in arena. And so I would recommend his Battle Meditation, because he'll give himself additional tenacity up and foresight up for 2 turns, and he'll spread that love to everybody on the team, just making them even harder to hit. And even if they remove foresight, then the tenacity they got to remove. So makes it doubly hard to get through that team. If you're not thinking of using Yoda Zeta because you know you can run this team without the Zeta, which it does work, it's just not as effective, then my suggestion would be R2-D2, whom you don't even have here. If you have him, but you haven't like done the unlock, please unlock him and level him up. He'll be your #1 most important character that you have in your group of characters to work on. #2 is going to be, of course, General Kenobi, who you don't have unlocked yet. #3 is going to be Rex, who I mentioned right here. Make sure that you get your Rex finished gearing up and put some good mods on him. He doesn't have to be super fast as a leader. I would probably get him between 100 and, roughly around 180 is all you really need. Of course, I would finish off Ayla, because right now you're using Ayla as a fill-in on your Jedi team, and she's gear 10 and she's in arena. Any character you're using in arena, you really want to max them out completely. And so even though she's tanky, she is in your arena team, you're going to want to finish her off. She has 3 more pieces of gear that you're going to want to get on her. Of course, I mentioned Chirrut and Baze down here. Make sure that you gear them up. When you use Baze, it looks like you're modding him correctly, so that's good. Health mods work great. I know a lot of people think health mods are junk, but on someone like Baze, it works really, really well. And of course, his counterpart Chirrut, you've got them both at gear 7. You really need to get them to a high gear 9/gear 10 for them to be viable in arena. But they will work at the gear 9-10. They just won't last quite as long, but that's okay, because they do bring a level of durability to a team that other characters can't bring. So pretty good. You've already got him, his levels and his mods and things like that looking pretty decent. And then Darth Nihilus, of course, I mentioned. You got him way here at the bottom. Haven't spent any time into him. I would definitely work on him. Darth Nihilus is just one of those meta-changing characters in the game that you absolutely everybody should have. And there's a lot of people who started playing within the last 3 months, 4 months that don't even have him. They either missed the event or they couldn't do the event and finish the last few tiers to get the last bit of stuff to unlock him. So you're really lucky to have a 4-star Darth Nihilus, so definitely focus on him. And then, of course, another real meta-changing character was Boba Fett after his rework. He's still viable, and the thing with Boba Fett is lots of people underestimate him now. They go, oh, well, he's been replaced by Darth Nihilus or whatnot. There's many times you're going to need to pull Boba Fett in and utilize him, and you can make him faster than Darth Nihilus because he has a faster base speed. And so sometimes he'll be the difference in a arena battle as to whether you're going to be able to go first in ability block or not. And so he's an excellent character for sure. I know he's very difficult to gear, so just throw him in there. And then I know I've already given you 8 characters to work on, and that is a whole lot of characters to work on. Your favorites is going to be filled, but if you wanted to know a couple of other characters that you have that you might want to work on, one is Death Trooper. Surprisingly, Death Trooper is very tanky. He can increase cooldowns on the opponent, much like Darth Nihilus does. He can dispel, much like B2 Battle Droid does, and he has an ability to do a fair amount of damage on his basic, and he has the ability to death mark a character once they've lost even one person. So once they lose one character on their arena squad, he can death mark them, and then it's an insta-kill the next shot. So he can basically kind of do an insta-kill of sorts. You just need him to stick around past that first character loss on the other side. And then the other one, because you run Jedi, my suggestion for another one would be Ezra Bridger. He is, in my opinion, one of the 2 top damage dealing Jedi in the game, if not the highest damage dealing Jedi in the game. I have all of them 7 stars maxed out, and he's my heaviest hitter. You know, everybody could say it's just RNG, but consistently RNG every single time, I don't think so. Ezra's just absolutely amazing. He's essentially Qui-Gon Jinn on steroids. He's better than Qui-Gon Jinn in every way, except Qui-Gon Jinn has the leadership ability. So unfortunately, you have to use Qui-Gon Jinn as the leader. But Ezra is better in every way. He's just like I said, a better version of Qui-Gon Jinn as far as his abilities go. So Ezra is someone you have unlocked. I know he's only 3 stars, but this is the deal. He's going to become farmable within the next month. And when he becomes farmable, you could get him his star rate up pretty quickly within a few months. And you want to have him geared up for that. So, you know, while you're waiting for him to drop and be able to be utilized, make sure you pull Ezra out. So I've given you 10 characters: R2-D2, General Kenobi, Rex, Ayla Secura, Chirrut Baze, Darth Nihilus, Boba Fett, Death Trooper, and Ezra. Put them all in your favorites, farm them up, gear them up. These guys are all going to be specific arena. They're going to help you with the current meta, the future meta, and they're going to help take your arena team to the next level. So what are your thoughts on that? If you have R2-D2, again, my recommendation would do his Zeta number crunch first. His Zeta number crunch is the best. If you don't have R2-D2, then I would put that Zeta on Yoda, because this is the team that you're using, and really you can only run Rebels or Jedi. That's really all you have until you build something else. And so make sure you get your Rex up so you have a Rex lead capable team. As always, thanks for listening. Keep your gaming on. Warrior out.